Hello, folks. Been a bit of a while after the Super Bowl. To just sum it up, it was a boring ass mess with just low scoring debacle of failed attempts off the red zone, poor play calling, poor offensive effort by the Rams, and the Patriots should just pick it up in the last couple minutes of the game because they're the Patriots with a shitty halftime show. Just everything was poor. It's one of the worst Super Bowls, obviously, in history that's been badder Super Bowls with poor performances, but when like that, that's just legendary. It'll be forgotten among 1, 2, or 5 years. So, SmackDown was last night, and obviously there's a Raw review coming soon. So let's see what we gotta dig our hands up to. We have, of course, Charlotte Flair trying to be instigating as always. She hasn't been intervening in any of the feuds going on in the women's division, but yet she still wants to entitle herself matching up with the women's champion, even though there's a SmackDown women's champion, and Charlotte's from SmackDown, but she chose Ronda Rousey. So who's fighting against Asuka? Obviously, they want to put him in the program, but Charlotte. Next thing, we have qualifiers for the last spot for the women's tag team championships in the Elimination Chamber. I do not care. But it came up with Charlotte Flair coming in and trying to instigate and judge about the injury of Becky Lynch. Tension started to rise when Becky Lynch was coming off the crowd and coming down to fight. He always does that. They don't want her to compete. You could have just done backstage segments. This could have been obviously just a backstage segment that we could have transitioned to a next match. You people are just not getting it. Ring time is ring time for a major storyline. Smack. If Becky Lynch wanted to do a promo in the ring, she could have just done a promo in the ring. Why does Charlotte Flair have to intervene just to judge about Becky Lynch's injury? Because she hasn't been going to a medic yet to get cleared up. And all Becky Lynch has to say is that she doesn't she doesn't trust them in good faith. Yet she's injured, and WrestleMania is in April, and nobody caused the injury but herself back at the Royal Rumble. So Charlotte Flair was acting like a little child when Triple H came to the ring and tried to intervene and try to stop Becky Lynch from being a retard. And this already doesn't make damn sense. So what happened to Asuka? What happened? So Becky Lynch slapped Triple H, then talked about his wife after what happened and breaking her arm back on Raw. And Triple H just trying to say that Becky Lynch is scared and trying to pretend an injury on Becky on Ronda Rousey, so that she can get away from the women's title match because he thinks she's afraid. Whatever. I just thought this was a corny, crappy. This could have been something backstage in Triple H's office that they could have just intervened in and try to judge the mentality of Becky if she really wants to compete against Ronda. I thought this was a really wasty segment. So, and there could have been many other ways they could have went about it. Next up, was supposed to be. Oh God, jeez, I'm not feeling good. Next up was Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. First of all, when Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows is gone, Carl Anderson looks great. Got to do a front senton outside. There's some decent drop kicks. This match was just hit after hit for near fall, just for Nakamura to win it for Rusev and them. And somehow they forged an alliance after months of, wife hitting and kind of costing each other the U.S. title. And our truth didn't even want to intervene. He wasn't even a guest commentator. I thought they were about to try to make a storyline with our truth after beating them for the U.S. title all at once. So nothing there. They just sort of have an alliance and respect each other after the tag match. I don't know what Anderson and Gallows are gonna do. They did a backstage segment so they can wrestle for next week after losing the U.S. title. It gotta be the most depressing part of your life. You have to know that R-Truth won the U.S. title and defended it at the same night and retained. That has to be a sad thought. This was a decent match. So next up was supposed to be Mustafa Ali. Yes, it was supposed to be Mustafa Ali versus Randy Orton. First of all, I gotta do one thing. Mustafa Ali, he was pretty good. He had some great flips. It's always the top 10 flips in the WWE. Randy Orton tried his best to just make a midget look good. He'd been doing that for years. But let me get one thing straight. With very little build up and you just put these guys to fight and shit, why don't you have qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber? It is the Elimination Chamber. There's not much from all the rest of the 6 superstars in the ring that have to intervene with each other. Why was Mustafa Ali lusted into the mix up because of 205 Live? There's nothing that captivating about him. He did a stupid promo saying that he can go against the ring against anybody, but his fucking attire, he wants to let it speak for himself instead of his own ability of what he can do in the WWE. So, after feuding with Samoa Joe, he comes up to match up against Randy Orton. They just get a mid-air RKO in a decent match. Not really. These guys are just having exhibition matches. You had the Elimination Chamber. You could have alright qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber to bring up tension. It was going to be a dangerous thought for Daniel Bryan to deal with in the Elimination Chamber. Because your WrestleMania match is not built in stone. So anything could happen. Thanks, nobody chose Daniel Bryan for the WWE title when Seth Rollins won. So Mustafa Ali got RKO'd and won while Randy Orton got Kakina clutched by a fucking Samoa Joe. And he said that was just to send a message. For some apparent reason over the Elimination Chamber, so they're trying to still build tension over that because Triple H already issued the matches that were gonna go on. Next up, it was just a backstage segment with just freaking Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles. Did Daniel Bryan's promo because after the match, after Samoa Joe beating up Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan just wanted to make a promo. For some reason, just still try to berate the fans and crap like that. Let me tell you, man. As much as people could be proud that Daniel Bryan's finally heel and saying that, oh, this fits him, this is just a mid-card gimmick. You don't get it. He's our WWE champion. Jack Swagger was taken more seriously by the fans. You know why? He's big. They actually tried to give him a background where he can literally be athletically gifted in any fucking way. Having a collegiate career is kind of a big thing for your athletic prowess. And then you got Daniel Bryan being your WWE champion and nobody takes him seriously. AJ Styles didn't have a match, I think, for the second week in a row while Jeff Hardy had to compete. While Eric Rowan just had to make a crappy promo, and this was just poor. I'm not going to say it word by word. I'm just going to say it was a crappy promo. I'm not supposed to. They don't know how in the hell Eric Rowan is that much of an intelligent associate with Daniel Bryan. And just we know that he's going to use as the bodyguard. They don't even have that much of intelligent discussions. Just try to berate the place that they're in and insult the fans. Be like Captain Planet. It would be cool if they do some hippie shit backstage, but nobody cares about backstage segments anymore somehow in the WWE. Like, that's not how you build up what's going on with your character, at least building up a match. But it's cool. I don't care. Next up was a triple threat tag team match for qualifiers for the last spot for the women's tag team championships involving Naomi and Carmella, the Iconics, Amanda Rose, and Sonya Deville. This match was the shittiest cat fight I've seen in tag teams. First, I think it's like the first time I've seen a triple threat for women's in a tag match. Second, nobody can get a hint of offense in. Third, Naomi used her ass to still win a match instead of finding something unique. We get it that she has a big butt and one of the Usos should be blessed right now, but there's nothing really intimate about her wrestling ability. So Naomi and Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville did win the tag titles. I mean, win a shot after Naomi hit the rear view and out of distraction, out for a split second. Amanda Rose hit that little tiger slam to just win the match. This was a crappy match. This had very little build-up. They have no build-up of alliances over the past couple months or weeks that the tag team title's been introduced, and it just seems like it's a filler championship to keep the women busy. Thanks, the two women championships are not carried out well. First of all, there's nobody built right for Ronda Rousey until we find a good character for her to face off against. And Asuka, she's a lost cause. I don't think she's an untalented woman. I think she's just not the best woman that should be holding the women's title now. I think she should be okay in mid-card matches. That's not me being a dick. I really hope she finds the best way to win a match. I mean, she finds the best campaign she can be in, finds a good program, but no one cares. No one cares really. And I hate to say that, but but her matches are either overly aggressive, fake emotional, or struggle to be technical. And that's just me in a literal, on the sense of things. Since I've been watching wrestling for quite a while, I know it's supposed to be a technically sound match. I've seen wrestlers that can't speak English, but I can still take them seriously. And I've seen more emotional matches before. Thanks to you have women that obviously, if you see women in real life fight, they can make pain look really convincing. Asuka didn't even have a backstage segment. She was your women's champion. She doesn't have to compete every week. You're right about that. But at least still have her be involved in the show. She's the women's champion. She's like our truth. You don't have to let him compete, but he could have just sat down, viewed the match of this next competitor, or at least be in a backstage segment, be doing something. These wrestlers should be doing something. So the next up was the main event involving Daniel Bryan and Jeff Hardy. I would say this was alright, no botches. This was a fun, high-flying match. Hardy tried his best. Somehow he did not want to hit Eric Rowan, so he didn't interfere after trying to go for a flying lariat up the top steps. He just stopped as soon as he saw Eric Rowan. Obviously, Jeff Hardy, if you've seen a Jeff Hardy match before, folks, I think you've seen every Jeff Hardy match. Daniel Bryan, and they keep trying to struggle to just say that Daniel Bryan is technical, just knows every submission in the book. When he does the top 4 submissions that he knows, including the crossface, I don't call it the yes lock because that's corny. That's corny as shit. That's corny. I hate saying the yes lock. That sounds like a safe word. fucking. This match was okay. At best, it ended in disqualification off to Eric Rowan, and everybody else came so they can intervene. Daniel Bryan got beaten the crap out of. Mustafa Ali came, Samoa Joe came, Randy Orton came, AJ Styles came. That's about it. That was SmackDown. Not a lot of segments up backstage. The promos were cut together. There was Andrade Cien Almas just bringing up the legacy of Lucha Libre and how Daniel Bryan's an older relic and crap, but they could have just had him interviewed and say the same thing instead of having that crappy backstage segment with his girl speaking in his ear like he was getting brainwashed. It was not the most interesting SmackDown, and thanks for it was just weeks among the Elimination Chamber. I suspected a lot more coming out of this SmackDown. Thanks, we don't have the most interesting feuds, and also when we have another pay-per-view on the way of Fastlane, there's not that much suspense. Not really that much suspense. That's just me being honest. I think it's just a waste of a SmackDown. Just to give these guys matches, even though you could have done a lot more. You have no number one contender for the United States Championship. You have no backstage segments involving your champions or at least some top performers that are not competing that night. You have Daniel Bryan acting like an Intercontinental Champion instead of a WWE Champion. His promo speaks for itself. How he's more concerned about the environment than the WWE title. This interesting promo is now coming out of AJ Styles. What happened to you slapping Vince McMahon? What happened over there? Then they had the Usos that were number one contenders for the tag titles, just doing a backstage segment, and that's about it. Just acting like they're rap battlers or some crap like that, and they waste everybody's time thinking that this was a hard-on feud. Like Shane McMahon and The Miz are valuable opponents, like years among the making. They've been generational talents. It just doesn't interest me. It's really bad. If they wanted, they could have just made Usos hold on to the titles for a few months. And as either you can just intervene it with a tag tournament or something else to keep the show interesting. This was a really crappy SmackDown. This gets a 4 out of 5, a 4 out of 10. I hope it gets better next week because this was obviously a crappy show. Thanks for watching.